Have you ever looked at an old thing and thought, "You're nothing but trouble, time to get rid of you"? Well, I had a thing like that. A family heirloom, my grandmother's silver pendant. And you know what? If you're watching this video right now, maybe my grandmother was right, and we live in a simulation where the gods play dice with our lives. Because what happened to me last summer can't be called anything other than evil fate or a glitch in the matrix. My name is Damien, and this isn't just another scary story about ghosts or maniacs. This is the story of how I sold my future for $3,000 and how I had to buy it back at a price you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. A year ago, I was broke. Not just broke, completely financially screwed. Lost my job, overdue on rent, negative balance on my card, and the emptiness in my fridge rang louder than a church bell on Sunday. My friends scattered like cockroaches when the lights come on. The only valuable thing I had left was that old silver dreamcatcher pendant my grandma handed me the day before she died. She grabbed my hand. Her grip was like a pit bull's, even though she barely weighed 90 pounds. Pulled me close and hissed, "Damien, never take it off while you sleep. And never tell anyone your dreams, especially if they come true. And they will come true." Of course, I thought Granny had just lost her marbles at the end of her life. I wore the pendant as a keepsake. I sold it at Mr. Graves' shop. Nobody knew his real name. They said he was as old as the building itself. I walked in there purely out of desperation, not even hoping anyone would buy that trinket. Inside, it smelled of wax, dust, and something sweet, like molasses. And this Grave, tall, in a black suit, with eyes like a shark, he didn't even glance at the other things I laid on the counter. His gaze immediately locked onto the pendant. He picked it up with tweezers, almost disgustedly, as if it were radioactive, held it up to the lamp, and I saw his pupils dilate, sucking in the light. $3,000, he said in an icy voice. Right now. A couple of days after the sale, I dreamed about my buddy Dan. We were drinking beer at Sally's bar, and suddenly he choked on foam. Just choked and dropped dead, face first into a plate of nachos. The dream was sickeningly realistic. I woke up in a cold sweat but convinced myself it was just nerves. A day later, another friend called. Dan was dead, choked on a piece of steak at a restaurant we'd never even been to. They couldn't revive him. That's when I started connecting the dots. Grandma had said the pendant was a dream catcher. It keeps bad dreams from getting out. And now, without it, I had become some kind of radio transmitter into the ether. Whatever I dreamed started growing into reality. On the fourth night, I fell asleep around 1 a.m. I hadn't turned off the TV, and the screen flickered blue. And suddenly, through my sleep, I heard laughter. A child's laughter. But it was croaking, low. I opened my eyes. The TV was showing static, white noise, but in that static I could clearly see a figure. A girl in a white dress was walking toward me. She was emerging from the static like from a forest. Her arms were twisted, elbows facing forward, and her face, she had no eyes, only black hollows and a wriggling, wet mouth. I couldn't move. She climbed onto me, pressing her knee into my chest, and whispered right into my ear, "You've gone too far, Damien. Soon you will let us out." I realized I had two options. Either find Mr. Grave and get the pendant back, or never sleep again. I rushed to the shop. Grave's place had vanished. In its spot was an abandoned storefront with a for lease sign. I asked every neighbor, and I remember one old drunk told me, "Kid, you're looking for someone who trades from the other side. He won't show up easily. You gotta fall asleep and call for him." I took the sleeping pills left over from Dan and plunged into the abyss. I found myself standing before the door of Graves' shop. Only now it was enormous, stretching up into a black sky. Graves stood behind the counter, but now his face had no skin, just a skull stretched with a web of veins. "You want it back?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Here's the money, 3,000. He laughed. "Damien, inflation. You've already started the broadcast. You can't return the ticket. But I will give you the pendant back if you bring me someone else's dream. The most terrifying dream of another person, someone you love. I knew what he meant. My girlfriend, Kate. She was terrified of water, panic level terrified. I would have to steal her nightmare. I stole Kate's dream. Holding her hand in our bed, I closed my eyes and plunged into her mind. I was in freezing black water. Kate was drowning. I felt her terror piercing my heart. It wasn't just water. It was all her pain, and I betrayed her. I woke up in our bed, gasping and coughing up real, foul-smelling water. In my hand was a small glass sphere that Grave had given me. Inside it, black water swirled and a tiny image of Kate was screaming. In the morning, Kate woke up absolutely happy. She said she had slept like a baby for the first time in years. She stopped being afraid of water, and I held her agony in my fist. I'm sitting at home, watching Kate sleep. She's beautiful. She's peaceful. You lifted the curse, Damien, but you didn't get your innocence back. You became a donor, Grave had said. A part of Kate's soul disappeared, and that black water from her dream is now inside my head. When I close my eyes, I sometimes taste mud. My grandmother knew the truth. Nightmares are just forgotten memories trying to save us. And if you ever dream that someone is selling your dreams in an old-fashioned shop, don't wake up. It might be me standing behind the counter.